Okay, this is our third part of a little three-part, and trust me, you'll see this thread run through a lot of what Dennis and Boo and others and many of our writers on the Daily Devotional do over weeks and months and even years to come. If you don't understand you're part of a story, then you will have no idea how to live. And you'll just try to live a moral life, and that's difficult, or you'll abandon a story at all, and your life will disintegrate into chaos and at least of soul. And many of you may even be in that place, a place of real darkness. So we need to understand, when we're talking about a story, Dennis, what kind of story are we actually talking about?
Yeah, every story has a plot, a major plot line, and then it has subplots or mini plots, right? And the story of Scripture is really four big moves. It's creation. There is an infinite creator without beginning or end who spoke and the worlds came into existence. Now that's a fact. As controversial as it is in our times, that's fact. But then the second plot move is what we call the fall. Humanity, made in the image of God, thumbs their nose at God, rebels against God, disobeys God, and God has to come in judgment. So think of any story you've ever been in. Things start, you're looking forward, and then all of a sudden the kettle drums start, ominous clouds show up,
right,
and there's this dark moment, things are chaotic. Well, that's part two, but what's plot three? It's redemption. God says, no, I'm not going to just merely judge the world. I want to have mercy and show love and grace. And so what does he do? The third move is redemption. So he sends his son to redeem us, to give his life for us, to pay our penalty, to take death upon himself so that we could be reconciled with God. And then, every great story has a climactic ending where things are great. And it used to be everything was happily ever after. Well, the true story of the world is exactly that. God created, we fell, God redeemed, but Jesus is coming again, and those who love Christ and follow him in this life will live happily ever after.
Now, Boo, some people say it was just too good to be true. I mean, you're part of Hollywood, and Boo's been on CSI and different things like that, and so you're used to a tale. You got to tighten it up. You've got, just exactly what Dennis said. You have these plot lines, and then hopefully you get to some kind of a conclusion. We kind of live in an existential crisis kind of a world today, and a lot of times it doesn't end in a fairy tale. Fairy tales are for kids. Let's get to reality, but in fact, we all long for riding off into the sunset kind of a picture.
Yeah. You ever thought about that?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Why do we long to ride off into the sunset and have a great ending? C.S. Lewis's big argument is where we are is wrong because we're fully aware that there's something wrong. If we were made for this world, we wouldn't be complaining about it.
My dog's not concerned about riding off into the sunset.
Yeah, fish in water's not saying, gosh, this water's uncomfortable. Fish out of water, I'm in the wrong spot. And we're very aware that the world is wrong, that if there is a God, I'm not right with him. And God knows I can get mad at you at the golf course and we can have an issue, and then internally I'm divided. I mean, I've got guilt. I do things I don't want to do. We're not made for this, and we recognize that there's a division on multiple levels, and those divisions need to be reconciled, right?
Have to be reconciled, and it goes back to story. I mean, this is a story. You're living a story. We read the book of Acts, 28 chapters, the book of Acts. Look what they did back there. Look at their story. And then we don't think, well, what about Acts 29 or Acts 157 or Acts 2,389 or Acts 10,700 in the 21st century? Well, maybe even at your golf community right there at your club. Have you ever even thought, I wonder if there's a chapter being written about my life? I wonder if I could be accused and maybe in some way of being a mastermind, of plotting to involve people in a story, or am I just a passive participant that kind of goes back and, well, I'm supposed to be happy about my religion. I guess there was that little, and hopefully I'll go to heaven one day, but really much back to my life, and you go back to a story that led you into chaos in the first place. So if this is true, if there's a story, your life cannot be the same. You don't just believe in Jesus Christ and then it's over. You believe in many other things. I love that. So I hope this has maybe inspired some thinking, maybe even some thinking among, if you're part of a fellowship, or maybe even in your family, or maybe even a conversation with your wife tonight. Do we live in a story? Begin asking those questions. It will change your life, especially when you realize the narrative and the script has already been written. So I hope this has been helpful. Hope you have a great week. Thanks, guys. It's been great, and can't wait till we do this again. Love you guys. Have a great day.